As it turns out, the concept of a pipeline funneling people away from the left is also something that has been rebranded and retooled for leftist purposes. It was once called the walk away movement, otherwise known as How I Left the Left. In 2018, Brandon Straka, a gay Democrat, started the movement and tried...
No, How I Left the walk away movement is for people who want to grift. The walk away movement is exclusively a movement of people.
Okay, no, that's not true. What I'm saying is, if you're asking the question, why is it that people seem to be moving away from the modern day version of leftism? And if you ask that question, one answer might be there's a YouTube radicalization pipeline. And maybe that's true. But the answer that seems to be closer to reality is the idea of people feeling like they've been left behind by the left as the left radicalizes. That seems to explain what's going on more than a pipeline narrative. That's the point that I'm making here.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the people he lists, like, I hate this. Everyone does. It's not just the left, but everyone does this. They call everyone a fucking grifter. Everyone's a grifter. Like, that's a term that's so overused that it's basically meaningless. Because what a grifter is supposed to mean is someone who doesn't actually have a philosophy and ideological core, and they're just literally just saying whatever it takes to get money. Okay,
right.
And he kind of calls Karlin Poroshenko a grifter, but then later like retracts what he says, sort of, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
He calls, I think, Dave Rubin and Candace Owens grifters. I don't think, for as dumb as I think Dave Rubin and Candace Owens' opinions are on many things, I don't think they're grifters. I think they're just people who had very strong emotional reactions to something on the left that they did a whole 180 and kind of, fell into some other rabbit hole or something. Doesn't make you a grifter.
Yeah. They call Sargon a grifter, but Sargon, he genuinely believes in like the philosophical ideas of being a conservative. So he's
right.
Definitionally, exactly. He's not a grifter.
Right.
He disagrees with you. See, to hold this idea together, you have to basically put yourself in their shoes, and let's say that Xander Hall actually believes that these people are grifters. What that must mean is that he believes that everyone believes in leftism, and when they act like they don't, they're only doing it for money.
But
so
that
must be so correct. It's like it's just a stupid way of viewing things.
That is the Kyle Kalinske position. That is constantly repeated. That you take these polls and everyone's really a sock them. Everyone's really a leftist. It's just the elites trick them into not doing it. I mean, I think a lot of them do think that. They think, with just enough education, if they just read enough, everyone would be a leftist. That is kind of the operating worldview they operate under.
I think they use the term grifter for the same reason that they use the alt-right pipeline narrative. The alt-right pipeline is to make moderates responsible for the far right, the alt-right, the ethno-nationalists. They use the term grifter to put pressure on the audience, to basically call the audience dupes or stupid or dumb,
right,
to separate the person from their audience. So they're not necessarily the power of the term is what it does to the audience, not really what it does to the person.
I don't think that's like a conscious thought. I don't think someone thinks I'm going to divide them between their audience by calling them a grifter.
No, but I think that's why it's powerful.
Yeah, maybe that could be. It's not. I feel like it's not powerful.
Listen, do you want to give to the Patreon of a grifter?
No, of course not. Right.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I don't think that it's so overused that any power it had is basically lost at this point.
Yeah.
Who want to make content for the right and have a hashtag to put their... Okay, the walk away movement was how I left the alt-right pipeline thing, but explicitly designed to propel astroturfed grifters into prominence. People like Karlin Borisenko, people like this guy, people like, who is that one dude?
It's so weird because he calls Karlin a grifter, and then later he praises her for retaining certain left-wing beliefs. So how can you hold
for defending Blair White in that debate? Yeah.
I did not know who Karlin Borisenko was until she debated Shu. So how is this an astroturfed person?
That's a good point. That's a great point.
She wrote a blog post that blew up So, I mean, unless the left-wing people are the ones that control the algorithms, right? Why would they astroturf someone against them?
Well, who's this guy that you have this picture of?
I'll talk about him in a second. Let's just hit play here, and we'll see.
That we covered, that was trans dude that was like a hashtag walk away, had the blonde hair and was like marching through West Hollywood with like a sign saying like vaccines are evil, like before COVID. This is back in 2019. I covered this person. Candace Owens was all over walk away. Yeah. It's basically a sort of like grift, astroturfed right-wing figures into prominence with a...
I mean, and Candace Owens blew up way before the whole walkaway movement.
Yeah,
Candace Owens is not a grifter in any way, shape, or form, Sitch, right?
No, she's just an insane person.
I mean,
she's actually insane. She's not doing it for money.
I think you could make the argument that Candace Owens doesn't have strong political beliefs, and that
I was going to say,
like, just to be, yeah.
Well, I don't know. No, here's the thing. I don't think Candace Owens is like a grifter per se.
Well, how are you describing grifter?
Someone who doesn't believe in the political philosophy that they are espousing. Okay. Right. I think Candace Owens does believe in her political philosophy. However, I do think she's inherently dishonest in that she will generally try to frame things and people in the most bad faith, negative way possible. And she knows that they're not, that she's doing it in a dishonest fashion. That's my interpretation of Candace Owens.
She's an attorney. She's just going to war.
I mean, I can understand. Out of everyone's called a grifter, I understand why she'd be called a grifter the most, because when she was a kid, she sued the school that she was going to because someone left her supposedly a racist voicemail, and that like a bunch of kids left her supposedly a racist voicemail, and one of the kids in the car was like the son of the mayor of the city or something. Wow. And their father is like some big time politician. And I'm pretty sure the NAACP like helped her finance her lawsuit against the school or the county or whoever the fuck she sued. So her early life is just nothing but wokeness. It's that. And then of course, obviously she created she wanted to create the doxing website, which name escapes me right now, which would basically categorize and keep every time anyone bullied anyone, you could send it to this Candace Owens website, and it would keep a full documentation of the bullying that took place, and it'd forever be attached to. Oh, and they try to find your real name if it was a fake name that you're using. They try to attach it to your real name so that anyone could Google search or go to Candace Owens website and search her name, and they could see all the horrible things you ever said to anyone. And then when that blew up in her face, because not only was she attacked by the right from this, but she was attacked by Zoe Quinn and the left, and I think the betrayal of that, of getting attacked from the left, was so much that it kind of broke her brain, and that's why she became the person she became today. But
all right,
it seemed. I mean, do you know any of her? Do you know the Candace Owens lore at all, Dave?
Not entirely.
Okay.
I do know that people in the chat are saying that Aiden is constantly simping for Candace Owens.
Oh, Aiden don't simp for Candace Owens. Her brain's broken. Okay, she's literally.
But Sitch, is her body broken?
I don't think she's hot, so I was just. So now
she's like a mom now too. I think she's like,
I don't know,
8.5 months pregnant.
She's not a MILF. Okay.
No, she's not. But Candace Owens literally is like the quintessential. The left was mean to me, so now I'm going to become like a rightoid essentially.
But that's Carlin Borsenko's storyline too.
But not really, because Carlin Borsenko has like principles that she's like, oh, these people violated the principles I was upholding philosophically. Candace Owens is like, Zoe Quinn got me canceled, and therefore I guess the left is evil now. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, what about when you were trying to do like all this left-wing kind of crazy shit?
You mean?
And she never owned up to it either.
And stuff.
And that, she wanted to create a doxing website, and she sued her school for being racist. And the problem, I think the problem with Candace Owens, that kind of, if you've seen the legendary, and I'm pretty sure we covered this, the legendary conversation between her and Blair White on Dave Rubin.
Guys,
if you haven't seen that, that you have to go watch that. That is like a key point in internet history, is that debate between Blair White and Candace Owens on Dave Rubin. And I think people would have been much more forgiving of Candace Owens if she just owned up to it and said, you know, I did this and I think it was wrong. And this is why I understand it was wrong, blah, blah, blah. But she refused to take responsibility for her actions.
Mhm.
And that rubs people the wrong way.
Republican, like any good Republican would, right? Like any good conservative, personal
Well, like
responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I guess it worked out for her because, you know, she blew up. She's making lots of money. She's very popular.
She's rich, bitch.
She's very rich. So
yeah,
she's definitely very smart. That's why I do think she's dishonest.
For her.
Candace Owens is very intelligent, and she knows how to frame things and discuss
She
things.
knows how to grift.
And if you listen to her when she's talking and debating people, she's very smart. She knows how to catch people and, you know, in rhetorical traps and catch people in logical errors and all this other stuff. So
look at
Anyway,
this.
I'm not leaving yet,
number-
chat, but we got to get going. Yeah.
Look at this show number 3. Oh wait, is that the guys? Ben Shapiro, Jordan. I thought we covered that. Blair White.
we did cover it. I remember watching it with you.
This looks like something
They-
different. I thought it was a
I don't
different
know.
one.
Hashtag for them to get behind sort of movement. It was sort of like a response to the how I left the alt-right pipeline, how I fell down it type of content. Yeah.